It felt as though there was a wild creature nearby. I observed someone standing just outside the tent. The moonlight was casting its glow upon the lake, and together with the gentle, warm illumination of the fire, I could distinctly see the silhouette of a man. Initially, I assumed it was Dad. Perhaps he came to see how we were doing. However, whoever the individual was, they did not utter a single word. They merely stood there in complete silence. Their height appeared to be average, and their shoulders were quite broad. My heart began to pound intensely. I could hardly catch my breath. Then, gradually, the figure lowered itself. It bent its knees in an unusual manner, almost as if it was trying not to disturb our sleep. Then he pressed his face firmly against the tightly stretched mesh window. I immediately ceased all movement. He was definitely not my father. I couldn't see his entire face, but what I did see made my stomach turn uneasily. His eyes were extremely wide and seemed to glow ominously in the darkness, much like a ravenous wolf observing its prey. My palms were clammy and my throat felt parched. I had an overwhelming urge to scream and rouse Jack from his sleep, but I sensed that this man should not become aware that I was observing him. Who can truly say? If I had made any noise, it might have turned into something worse. So, I did the only thing I could think of. I shut my eyes tight and pretended to sleep. Deep inside, I hoped this man would leave without causing any trouble. I don't know how long I stayed like that. It might have been minutes or maybe hours. I just kept my eyes closed and listened to my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. Then suddenly, I heard footsteps slowly moving away. I stayed awake all night. I didn't open my eyes until the first rays of morning light came into the tent. Jack was still snoring beside me. He had no idea what had happened. When we eventually rose and unzipped the tent flap, the grass outside was damp with morning dew, and there were noticeable footprints imprinted on it. The prints were quite large and bare, and they formed a circle around the entire tent. I recounted the events of the night to Jack, and he promptly called Uncle. When Uncle and Dad arrived, I recounted the story about the mysterious man. They meticulously examined the shrubbery in the backyard adjacent to the lake. Throughout the entire night, no one from the household had ventured outside, and there were absolutely no indications of anyone else in the vicinity. No tracks or footwear, just a few footprints. Dad proposed it might have been a bear. Uncle speculated it could have been a wanderer, but I still vividly recall those eyes and that indistinct face pressed against the mesh window. Whatever or whoever was outside our tent that night was not looking for help. There was definitely something sinister about it.